What is this wooden box with a pump-like spinning mechanism I found in France? About the size of 6 soda bottles and no holes for things to come in or out. It smells kind of funny inside, like it was used for coffee or wine. It was found in a very old French B&B in a wine region, so good chance it has something to do with grapes. You can sit on it, but then turning the handle becomes very awkward. It also has 2 handles and can be easily carried. What is this thing? It's a 19th century butter churner. Many families living on farms kept a cow or two for milk, etc., and had equipment to process their own dairy products at home. A butter churn is a device used to convert cream into butter. This is done through a mechanical process via a crank used to turn a rotating device inside the churn until the cream turns to butter. Generally, salt and bicarbonate of soda were added. This tool was found in my grandparents' basement. My grandfather was somewhat of a scientist and a builder, and I was curious what this tool were used for. It has 9 individual pieces, all numbered, that slide together to form what you see here. Each of these pieces can be slid apart and the entire thing can be disassembled. Any info on make or age would be appreciated. It's a set of cork borers from the 1940s to 50s. These are used in laboratories, pharmacies, and chemistry rooms to bore holes in corks and rubber stoppers to insert glass tubing. Cork borers usually come in a set of nested sizes, along with a solid pin for pushing the removed cork or rubber out of the borer. A separate device is a Cork Bora sharpener used to hone the cutting edge to more easily slice the cork. I found this in a restaurant in St. Anton am Arlberg, Austria. It was screwed to the wall in a restaurant that looked like it was an old barn. The waitress said no one there knew what it was, and that it was at least 200 years old. I'm not sure how clear it is in the image, but the black square is very spiky, and I don't know if both parts go together. I'm very curious to learn what this thing is. It's a 19th century carding bench for carding wool and forming it into rolls for spinning. You'd sit on the bench part, which may have originally had legs, and then use the paddle on the right, which also has carding cloth on it, to pull through locks of wool to brush them into alignment and make them airy and smooth and ready for spinning. I spin and own one. I got this at an auction at an antique store, and it was part of a lot that also had an item that we were told was used by Chinese royalty to pick their concubine for the night, like little bamboo name tags that we can't read, and no other information was available. It's about 4.75 by 4.25 inches, and what appears to be a handle on the back, just a crude cone shape really. My husband guesses that they were just someone practicing pottery and trying to copy a style, but we can't even come up with what style the artwork is in. Any idea what this oddly beautiful object is for? It's a pre-Colombian Manteño pottery stamp, circa 850 to 1600 CE. An iconographically intriguing pottery stamp, decorated with a pair of standing shamans, donning elaborate crocodilian and jaguar costumes, and holding hands. When used repeatedly, the resulting image would consist of many such figures arranged in a procession or ritualistic dance. A fascinating pottery stamp from the Manteño culture, the final pre-Columbian civilization of Ecuador. My father gave me a dagger. Can you tell me anything about its history? For 30-odd years now, my father has been stripping houses for salvage for the demolition company he works for. It was always exciting when he would come home. There were always strange marbles or old coins, newspapers, and other remnants of whenever the houses were built. Today, he handed me a bundle wrapped in an old sheet, and inside was this dagger. He had held on to this, thinking that he would one day get it identified. I think this might be Babylonian. The sheath and hilt seem to be made from tin or brass and seem to be set with colored glass, or what I think might be sapphires. Any light any of you can shed on this would be greatly appreciated. It's a typical good example of the Beduin side dagger, locally known as shibria. All men carry it, and it is very popular between the Beduin tribes residing in Israel and in Jordan. The blade is short, recurving and double-edged with an acute tip. The grip as well as the scabbard are covered with engraved metal on the front side and iron sheet on the rear side. The scabbard is set with a belt loop at the rear side. A real authentic dagger from the early to mid-20th century. This odd old tool was found at a garage sale by my mother. The seller had no idea what it was. It is cylindrical, slightly smaller than a standard 12-ounce soda or beer can. It is made of a heavy dark wood like oak and brass. The removable brass top has a slot that curves along the outer diameter, with a movable peg and 3 alphanumeric strings stamped in it along the edge of the slot. With the top removed, the inside has a solid brass disc covering the entire cylinder, and by the feel of the weight, it may be solid all the way down. The item gives the impression of being a gauge or other comparison tool, and strikes me as having been made in the late 19th or early 20th centuries. Any idea what this is made for? It's a drill bit storage, patented on June 24, 1902 by Thomas Abraham of Hopedale, Massachusetts. This case is designed to hold sizes from number 1 to 60. The upper mechanism turns for display and provides an opening to store drill bits. The size is selected using a combination of the small knob and the index of sizes marked around the edge of the cover. What is this wooden frame thing found in the bedroom of a holiday house in France? It's about 1 meter tall and seems old and fragile. I tried to see if it rotated, but as soon as I touched it, it started coming apart, so I decided to leave it alone. Any ideas? It's a 19th century primitive wooden yarn swift. Yarn is coiled in a loose skein for dyeing. To allow the color to reach all of the fibers, it is often stored in this loose skein to keep the fibers relaxed. When you are ready to use the yarn, you take the skein horizontally and place it over the swift. The slanted slats keep it from sliding off the bottom. Then as you unwind the yarn off the swift, you can wrap it either into a tighter ball that is easier to manage, or sometimes directly into your project. What is this Victorian mystery object? Both ends are blunt and too big for a needle threader. It came as part of a Victorian sewing kit including scissors, a thimble, an awl, and a needle case. I thought it might be a yarn threader, but I don't know what it would be threading the yarn into. Any ideas? It's a 19th century bodkin. It is used for lacing corsets, threading ribbon through lace beading, cord through casings, or any other time when you need to carry a yarn without the chance of poking holes or sewing through something. The object is not mine. The owner lives in the UK, and she has no idea what it is. They submitted the image and asked what it was on a group, and no one had any guesses that even seemed close. I've worked with images and post-production for about 30 years. When I was young, I ran a booth in an antique and collectible mall, and my friend thought I might be able to help. I used Google image search, but I got nothing. The item is 40 pounds, 4 feet long, has cast iron at both ends, and the wood is tapered and seems specific to the purpose. There are markings on the shaft that look very much like the kind of branding marks one sees from American ranches or farms. I keep thinking horse or carousel related, but I have found zero visual evidence. What is this thing? Please tell us down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.